Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi, Crypto, and Airdrops, our Saturday, I almost said Sunday, night edition. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto. This is Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report, my resident airdrop specialist. How's it going, brother?
Doing great, man. Had some peptide therapy this morning to deal with a little injury, so that was nice. And I got a nice little new DJ equipment today that I get to play with after the stream. So I'm pretty
Oh,
excited to
yeah. Yeah, we can,
to
we can,
twist
we
some
can
knobs
ride.
and push some buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? How's your weekend going after this
It's
little
going
pump
good,
you
man.
got?
Friggin'
You like
markets are
green
pumping.
candles?
My ETH is back in range and earning. Like
Mm-hmm.
just from this morning, I've earned like 30, 40 bucks, just from, going
Hell
back
yeah.
into range. It's been like, feels like forever, like a month and a half it's been out of range. And I'm like, any day now it's going to pump. But, finally. So yeah, no, it's been great. The past 2 days, I've probably earned about 150, to 170
Ooh.
dollars in profits. And again, the majority of that was before ETH went back into range. So yeah, my portfolio is looking good. How's yours doing, brother?
Nice. Yeah, I actually moved some. My plume pool's been doing great. So I had the same ETH USDC pool that you had, and I kind of, or I'll actually pull it up.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the, so the range that I had, it was way down here, and it went out of range after that big pump the other day, and I just decided to um, move it all into the plume pool because as much as I like the ETH pool, the plume pool has been performing way better for me, and so I think it at least like I don't know. I'll have to get the percentage, but it's pretty nice so far. It's pretty nice so far. So at least
I
five
might
percent, at least 5% in a day. But
well, I
the
might
market's
have
been
to
pumping, so that
oh, go ahead, sorry.
I said the market's been pumping, so that also helps too to get that volume up. But
I'm
yeah, the
telling you
plume.
though, Plume has been a rock star for DeFi. I mean, just the
Mhm.
steady sideways action and the yield that it produces. I almost don't want mainnet to go live because of how well it earns. But I mean,
Yeah, because
I don't
mainnet
know.
is going live soon, and this is the chart. I mean, you're getting a nice uptick. I mean, it's looking good. And you also um, are using a V4, a version 4 liquidity pool, correct? And
Yes,
those have much better, much more efficient buys and sells and stuff like that. So that's it's a much you're getting more value. You're capturing more value.
it's a yield optimizer is the way they
Mm,
phrased it when I did my research.
okay.
So those of you that don't know, I actually, hey Kyle, looks like you're the first time in here. Freaking appreciate you, brother. Actually, you know what? Quick shout out to the chat. Doobie Doo, Jay, Alexandra G. We got Wispy, Brandon in here. Got Black Ice. We got
Hmm.
Kyle. And those of you that are watching, looks like Rumble's not working. It hasn't been working all day. But those of you watching on X, welcome. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to be talking about
Hmm.
Newton, which is an exciting new AI DeFi project. And at the end, I'll actually get into a little bit about DeFi. I want to cover the importance of having a long-term mindset, with your DeFi, so that you don't get caught up in chasing APRs and things like that, and you build out your portfolio for long-term sustainability and that
Hmm.
good, steady, residual income that we're all looking for. And then also, I'm going to talk about a DCA strategy or a take profit strategy, and show mine. So I'll show you mine if you show me yours. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and so I'm going to show you what my plan is on how I plan on laddering out to ensure that I don't round trip my bags and to try to hit my goals. So
Hmm.
with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into just a couple
But
of with
you want me to
everything
run through the
going on.
socials real quick?
Yeah, you know what? Do the socials and all.
Yeah, I'll hit this up. Well, we
All right.
appreciate everyone for joining. You can catch us live here on DeFi Crypto and Airdrops on YouTube. Monday and Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We also got our brother channels, Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, BitLab, my channel, The Blockchain Report, and Vet's channel, Life, Liberty, and Liquidity. And he goes live Monday or Sunday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch Vet on X at Veteran4Crypto. And we both stream on here as well. Share a lot of good stuff, a lot of alpha. And you can catch me at the BCR 142. We won't reach out to you and ask to invest anything. We won't money and all this stuff. You know, we do this all for free. Share education and yeah, good tips and just be safe out there. Be safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to jump right into, let me pull my screen up. Let's start here.
And yeah, have you seen any Pengu liquidity pools at all?
I have not. Well, we can
Man,
look. We can
yeah,
actually look live.
that would be nice to.
So let me refresh this because it's been a couple minutes and I'm up to 64. So just in a couple of
Nice.
about an hour, I made a couple grand. So that's awesome. All right. So let's actually go into here. So this is ETH right now. And as you can see, those of you that are familiar with cycles, of course, you get Bitcoin pumping first, then you get ETH pumping, and then you get, high market cap, projects, blue chips, and then after that, you get the full on alt season. So what seems to be going on right now is we're starting to get the ETH pump. We're in uncharted waters, with the amount of institutional money that is in the markets. However, I personally feel that they are going to ensure that it stays on that path because they've been stacking ETH and they've been stacking blue chips. If you watch any of the shows, if you go on chain, you can see what tokens and what coins that they've been stacking. So I think that this is going to be potentially a longer bull market, but I think that it's gonna take more time to get through this cycle. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it. But let me pull up this. So what I got here is there is a project called DeFi Station, and I forget what channel I was watching it on, but it is either about to launch or it just launched, and it is another DeFi aggregator. This one you have to pay for. It's a lot like Metrics Finance, but it's not like DFAT, where DFAT is free and they just charge you small fees for anytime you enter or exit a liquidity pool or perform a function, they charge you. Whereas this one appears to be like a monthly subscription, but it tracks your portfolio as well. So when you
Mhm.
connect your wallet, it will show you what is in what pools that you're in, and it tracks their performance. Basically, what we're trying to build right now. It's just there's
Nice.
people that are beating us to the punch. So I
Well,
haven't
there's
used it
always going
yet.
to be
Yeah,
some variations like that, but there's a lot of people to serve.
no, there is, and I don't know how good it works. It's like I said, I haven't personally tried it. I'm
Ours is
excited to
better.
see. What's that?
Yeah, ours is better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ours is totally better. Um,
Totally.
But yeah, I am excited to see how well it works. Oh, there you go. It's you got $2 a day, $20 a month, or something like that. Here, let's see.
Detailed metrics,
DeFi
real-time
station.
data with
Yeah, $2 a day, $20 for 30 days, $57 for 90 days, and $108 for 6 months is what it looks like it's going to be.
minimal delay to
Let's
find the most
see.
profitable opportunities across multiple networks and exchanges. Now let's explore the platform together. After clicking Launch App, you'll arrive at our main dashboard. Here you can see a real-time overview of the top-performing liquidity pools across various.
Okay, so it helps you find liquidity
One
pools
of
as
DeFi
well.
Station's most powerful features is our advanced search and filtering system. Located at the top of the dashboard, these tools allow you to precisely target pools that match your investment criteria. Now, you can filter by network,
Nice.
Ethereum, Solana, Arbitrum, Base, and many more. DEX platforms, Uniswap, Orca, Radium, Meteora, and more. Not token types or specific tokens, APR range, liquidity requirements, risk tolerance levels, age of pool. For example, if you're looking for low-risk stablecoin pairs on Ethereum with APRs above 10%, simply adjust these filters and the dashboard instantly updates to show only matching pools.
All right. So
While our basic features provide...
okay, so it looks like it just helps you find pools and enter pools. It doesn't look like it had a portfolio tracker. But
Okay.
that's I mean, honestly, that's the thing we're struggling with right now is trying to figure out the back end and getting it to where it properly connects to your wallet and indexes the right like figures out of the liquidity pool, and so that it can calculate how well your portfolio is performing, each of your pools and your overall portfolio. So it's a lot of work, but I just wanted to, those of you out there that are looking for tools like this, I want to make sure that anytime I run across them that I share that with you. But that's that. And then let's do a bit of news. There we go.
You snooze, you lose.
Guess I could have just swapped over to this.
Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo.
All right. So that, who cares about the Dukes of Hazzard star?
What happened?
Oh, it was just something has nothing to do with crypto. All right. So Aerodrome. Those of you that keep asking about Aerodrome and does it have a future because of how beat down the price was, I think everyone's feeling better about it now. But you can see that on base, it has almost 66% of all of the base network, and that includes Uniswap and PancakeSwap, Alien Base, and others. So as far as assets traded on base, Aerodrome has captured 66% of all base mainnet DeFi. So take that with a grain of salt. But what that tells me is that Aerodrome is still very much going strong. I also noticed that Aerodrome, people worry about the tokenomics because of how often they mint new tokens. Those tokens are either paid out to VE Arrow holders, which are the people that have locked. Anything that is not paid out to VE Arrow holders is actually max locked, so locked for 4 years by the platform. So with that, long story short, that means that it's actually deflationary. So they are locking up more tokens than they are minting. So again, something, it's important to know these small details and not get fudded out of projects because you're going to miss out on a lot of profits. This was 6 hours ago. ETH just reclaimed 2,500. As we can see, it's at almost 2,600 now. So we're still pumping. This is just to kind of give you an idea. The market is back and we're ready to make money. So 2025, you can see this is the rainbow chart, and you can kind of see in the past how it's moved. When you're down in these lower areas in the blue, that's what they call the fire sale, and when you need to be buying. That's where we're at right now, even with this pump. So there's plenty more upside to come. If we follow any sort of historical patterns. So keep that in mind. Breaking $10 trillion asset manager BlackRock met with the SEC Crypto Task Force to discuss tokenization and RWAs. So I can't stress enough DeFi and RWAs and the amount of money that is about to flow with regulation that is about to flow in to those two use cases. And if you're paying attention at all, you can see it being built out. Morpho is one of them. Coinbase, if those of you that don't know, their Bitcoin lending offering is basically built on, Base, of course, but off of Morpho and Moonwell together. So you can see that the total deposits, there's over 1 billion. It's the first DeFi protocol on Base to reach 1 billion TVL.
Jeez.
So Morpho is going to be massive. So,
way to go. They were fairly new too.
Yes, they were. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get into Newton. I'll go ahead and take over.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, Pepe said BIOS on virtuals is going to be king. I've seen BIOS around. I don't know if I think I've seen like an airdrop or so. Let me see.
Yeah, well, go ahead and
Yeah,
take
sometimes
over.
Base.
Go ahead and take over the
Yeah.
screen. I'll take over the chat. And
Yeah, let me pull this up. Yeah, I know there's been some Base. I'll have to look into BIOS later. Where is my?
I mean, feel free to do it now. I just wanted to let you know.
No, I was looking for the button. Yeah,
Screen's
so we're
all
going to dive
yours.
into Magic Newton today. So this actually is pretty fucking cool because it's the first verifiable agent to help you trade using an AI agent. And they just launched, they had a test net where you can sign up for free and earn these credits that will contribute towards the airdrop. And I still think that you can do these little quests and sign up for your socials and stuff and earn these credits. But they just launched their main product, and Base actually just made the post a few days ago or yesterday.
Nice.
So Base posted it, so it's legit. I couldn't find the funding, but if Base is posting and sharing this, it's going to be, and there's a lot of hype around it too. So basically, let me go to just the website because I want to go to the actual homepage because it's got some good info. I don't want the app. So projects will separate their main website and their app. And this link is giving me the wrong one. Here we go. I know, man. It's like just... Okay, can we load? There we go. So crypto user experience is broken. AI can't be trusted. So Newton sets you free with verifiable AI agents. So Magic Newton is designed to put users first by automating crypto and putting your financial freedom on autopilot. So you can execute strategies that work 24/7, and it's on the Base network. And yeah, so basically you can set up trades. So you deposit into your Magic Newton account and start an AI agent that does automatic recurring purchases. So this was something that I've been thinking about for a little while, like how to get AI bots to buy and trade for you in a way that will profit, make you some money and not just be a shit bot,
that will actually profit.
Yeah. And I've seen a ton of people just blowing this up. Like I knew it was big, but I don't know. I think it's really cool that you can have it automate, recurring buys for you. But this is where I haven't set it up yet. So I wanted to kind of do this live. And I will share in the description, once we post this later, the description will be updated, and I'll post the ref link in here that I have, because you can.
Do you want to tell people, like since we're on that topic, do you want to tell people what we talked about before we went live as far as our little project?
Oh yeah, so we're gonna set up a separate airdrop wallet for our channel, because I do a lot of airdrop stuff on my show, and I have a few wallets that I airdrop farm with. But we're gonna set one up for this channel specifically to show you all how we start from scratch. Like, we're not gonna put any money into it. It's just gonna be all free projects that we can airdrop hunt for free, and that's going to be intentional. It's going to be kind of, not all of them will pay out, crazy amounts, but you can hit a few 3-4 figure airdrops a year at least. And right now there's a bunch of projects building, so they're going to be, once the bull run comes, there's going to be a lot more. So we're going to
basically what we're going to. Oh, go ahead.
We're going to set this up and do it all from scratch with no money that we're investing. It's all going to be just sweat equity, and whatever we receive from the project, we're going to roll into DeFi. And Mike's going to take on the DeFi side. So we're going to grow this and see what we can have at the end of the bull run, and possibly do a nice little giveaway or whatever kind of fun stuff we think of.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a creative way to come up with that. But yeah, we'll do a giveaway at the end. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about it the other day on an episode where you can do all this for free. So we're going to put our money where our no money where our mouth is. No money. and we're gonna do what we were trying to tell all you guys. So we challenge all of you out there to do the same. And maybe we'll see if we can figure out a way to do like a little contest like that. But unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to do a contest on that, because we won't be able to tell if somebody actually put fiat in their wallet. But sorry, I wanted to make sure we covered that. But yeah, back to Newton.
No, yeah, leaving some fun Easter eggs for everyone, man. Because we want to show you that it is doable and how you can do it. I know the episode last weekend or a few weeks ago, it was Initia, where I airdrop hunted that for free and got, like 500-600 token or 700 tokens. And I put that into DeFi. So I'm having that earn, pretty nice each week. But yeah, so this Magic Newton portal right here is the free testnet side of it, and you have these side quests that you follow on X, connect to your Discord, all that stuff. And they have these partner quests that I don't know if all of these are, I think they might have ended, but you just basically sign up on each one of these with and enter your email address. But if you can't do any of those, what you can do is do these roll the dice, and you get a certain amount of credits each time you roll the dice. Per day. And they have this Minesweeper that you can play up to 3 times a day and earn credits on. And now, just the other day, they launched this Newton agent. So that's what they've been building out. And this is where the meat and potatoes is. So I'm going to deposit. Now, you sign up with your email address first. It's a account abstraction. So you're not using, you can use your crypto wallet as a recovery account, as a backup. So you sign up with your email address, and it'll send you a one-time passcode, and you put that in, and then it sets up your account. And then you set up your wallet as the recovery. I think you do it on the other previous page. But so I'm going to go ahead and send some Ethereum. Now, this is only on Base, so you have to have funds on the Base network. No, No, I don't want to send that. Oh yeah, we got to get into the leveraged ETH stuff too.
I'll remind you because I
Later.
want to hear
Yeah.
about that because that's something that you told us about before. I didn't get into it. I forgot, but it's definitely treating you very, very nicely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send this. Uh, send 10. I'll put $12 in just to. So I'm sending some Ethereum over to this account on Newton. So when you sign up with your email address, you don't have to write down a 12-word seed phrase or any of that shit. You just log in with your email and it'll send you a passcode, and that's how you log in. And no need for any of the fucking 12 words, so that's good. You can find your little wallet up here to the right, and you can buy, swap, send, and receive. And there we go. Our Ethereum is there. So let's start up. So this agent automates recurring purchases of select tokens and runs transactions as requested when you're not around. So let's see how we can set this up. And I'm down to take any recommendations from the viewers. So
I'm watching the chat just to see if anybody has any questions. Any of you that are on X right now, if you have any questions, unfortunately, unless you're a blue check mark, and I'm not going to be able to see any comments. So, if you want to jump on over, follow us on YouTube and jump in the chat, more than happy to answer any questions you have.
I just had to say, C90, I totally agree with you. You're dealing with Cardano, man. The Cardano, they have only 20, it's pretty much all 24-word seed phrase. And you're sitting there for like 10 minutes just writing out.
Yeah.
So we got the recurring buy agent, and this will help set up the token or the amount, token, frequency, and timing for your buys. So I'm just gonna, well, $10.
$510.
Oh shit. Okay, so I need to swap. So it looks like we can only pay with USDC right now. Okay. So it looks like in here you can go to swap. Okay, and so since Newton is a smart wallet, and that's what essentially these are. If you don't, when you sign up with your email address or like a biometric passkey, this will be a smart wallet. So sometimes you have to activate it by paying a little bit of gas fees. So in this case, it's 2 cents. So I'm gonna confirm this deployment so it activates my wallet. So in case you guys were wondering why that was, it was asking me to pay. So sometimes you have to activate the wallet itself. Now, I'm gonna just swap and I'll leave a little bit for gas fees. We do my token swap, and then I can buy this. I saw some people putting like 10 grand in here. I was like, oh shit, I might wait a little bit for to do all that. How blue is my check mark these days? Well, I don't know. How long did you choke it for?
Right?
All right, we're gonna pay with USDC. I'm gonna do a $10 recurring buy. Do we want to buy some Coinbase wrapped ETH or wrapped Bitcoin?
Let's do Bitcoin.
Wrapped Bitcoin.
Yeah.
CB, BTC, right? Frequency. How long? Hourly, daily? You want to?
Yeah, go ahead and do daily.
Yeah, we'll do daily. End date. I'll just put it to the end of the month. I don't care. Right. It's $10. Well, yeah. End of the week. Let's see.
So it just automatically like splits it up.
Yeah, this will put it the frequency. So I'm buying this daily for 1 week.
Right.
I'll buy Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin daily, so it'll probably be a little over $1, right?
Yeah, per
In
day.
7 days, a little over $1. So it talks to you on the left side, set the amount, got it. Now select frequency, all that. And you can ask, oh, okay, coming soon. So you can't ask it anything right now. Damn it. Okay, add funds. But refresh. Okay. I don't think I refreshed it when
There you go.
yeah.
Oh, it says you need to add funds for this recurring buy. There might be like a minimum amount.
Okay, let's. Damn it. No, I don't
Well,
think there was a minimum
it
amount. Let
is
me
a
try
beta. It is a
$9.
beta. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
beta, so there might still be some bugs in it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to mention. This especially with stuff that is in testnet. Like I know this is live, but man, the testnet stuff can be really, really buggy and can test your patience at times. So I don't know. This might just be lagging a little bit. Let me refresh.
Well, we'll mess with that for a second. I'll answer
Yeah.
Stan's question. So Stan was asking, since Plume's mainnet launch is coming, how would the channel create a position with USDC? I'm guessing Plume will blast off with mainnet launch, so I'm unsure about the range. Thanks. Stan, I personally, to be safe, what I did is I am in a full range Plume USDC position. If you want to do like a small amount in a ranged position, to get a higher APR, then that's great. But if you're worried that Plume is going to skyrocket and you want to make sure that you stay in range, just do a full range position, and you'll be earning it no matter what the price does. And then just take like a small portion, like 20% or something like that, and do a ranged position. And I'll show you in the DeFi portion, how I pick those levels and stuff. How are we looking on Newton?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right here. Yeah, it was excluding fees. So you got execution buffer, which is $1, and then a validation fee. So keep that in mind when you're setting these. There does look like there is a fee with this, so that's why I wasn't able to do that, because it would have been $11. But so validation fee, execution buffer. So buffer amount to account for network fee fluctuations that could occur. Any funds not used will stay in your wallet. Okay. So that execution buffer will stay in there in case they don't need it. So that's cool. Okay. Each payment, let's see. So continue. Setting agent permissions on chain.
Let me pull
There we
up.
go. Yeah, no, Stan, that was a good question on the Plume pool, because I actually talked to Vet about that
Actually,
before the
yeah,
show.
before we went live.
Yeah, because I'm looking at kind of rebalancing or moving my range to anticipate this mainnet launch. So
Yes.
this is pretty cool. Look at this. So you got your transactions, generate proof, funds moved, verifying proof.
And Bitcoin dominance has been dropping.
Oh, it's verifying the proof. Okay. However long it takes.
You did it. Your recurring buy agent has been activated.
Okay. All right. There we go. So we have our agent down here, and oh, I need to talk about my balance. Oh, I see.
Casper starting to move.
Okay. I see. I think I made a mistake. So that $9 is daily, not the whole time. So I think we need
Oh,
to
okay, okay. So you need to do
so
like a
yeah, that would
dollar,
be
like $1.25 or something like that daily.
yeah. So the 9 would be good for weekly if I did that. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, that
So
makes
this
sense.
amount at this frequency. So yeah, $9 would be daily. So okay, that's good to know. So yeah, I would want to do $1 a day for 7 days. Okay, and there's a minimum amount of $5. So that's good to know. And yeah, so essentially there you go. You can set up your recurring buys, and this is also great because if you're once this gets some good traction and all the bugs are ironed out and shit, you could essentially take your stuff from Coinbase, not have to trust Coinbase to custody your funds, and set up recurring buys on here. Because, when Coinbase doesn't allow people to withdraw Ethereum or other assets at times of market volatility, and you're sitting there like, fuck.
Yep.
You could have your recurring buys on something like this where it's not on an exchange and you own the essentially the keys, quote unquote. But yeah, something like this, that because there's not really a lot of there's nothing like this really outside of exchanges that have bots that do automated buys for you. But yeah, this is really powerful. I would check this out. At least get involved with the testnet side of it, and set up your account. I do have a video walking through it on my channel that I'll share the link down in the description. But yeah, get in here and throw $5 in minimum, and set up your bot and just play with it. See what you can do. Play with your
Play with
bots.
it. Just play with it.
Mom, leave me alone when I'm playing with my bots in my room.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
but there we
go
go.
ahead and hit up your leveraged ETH. Tell people about your
Oh
leveraged
yeah.
ETH, and then I'll go into the DeFi portion.
Okay, so not too long ago we covered Plaza Finance on Base, and they have these bond tokens and leveraged tokens for Ethereum. And this leveraged Ethereum position is a no liquidation leveraged token that I had like $20 or $24 in this leveraged ETH position. And where's my portfolio? And since this pump, it's what, 150%. So I've made $30 off of this. And here's the little chart. So a month. Yeah, so this is the leveraged ETH, and it's what, two times the leverage, right? So when Ethereum goes up, this leverage ETH goes up 2x, and yeah, and I had, what, 35 or $25, or no, total P&L. No, I'm up 31. I had like what, $16. Okay, so yeah. So $16, a fucking. Now it can go the other way too. If you're just getting in now and then ETH pulls back, it can obviously go against you. So that's why something like this is a powerful tool to use in certain market conditions. And
Yeah, like when
if
ETH, how beat down ETH was. I mean, it's a
yes,
great time to get into it, both from a spot buy standpoint, a leverage standpoint, DeFi
mm-hmm.
standpoint, pretty much every standpoint. If something's beat
Well, yeah,
down.
and you can DCA into something like this too.
Mm-hmm.
Now that would be cool to have Newton have a recurring bot that would buy into leveraged ETH,
That would
and
be
you can
cool.
set up. Oh shit, let's go!
Yeah,
But yeah,
right?
these tools, if you can find a way to, I wasn't sure what this was going to turn into either. That's why I didn't have a lot in it. But seeing the power of it, like, oh shit, non-liquidatable position. Like, of course, it's going to
Unliquidatable.
go against you. Non-dateable, man. Get this bitch out of here. But yeah, it's not. Just know when to
Oh,
use it.
shit.
Know when to use it and don't go all in, especially after big pumps like this. But definitely we'll be exploring more of this. But yeah, a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good shit that we're learning.
No, absolutely, absolutely. All right.
What you got, Mike?
So real quick, who was it that had the question? Doobie
Sauced.
Doo asked, DeFi uni rewards in Monday, correct? Yes. So the 13th. So actually, I think that's Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So Tuesday, these uni rewards that I was telling everybody about, they might not end, they might reset, because that's what they did last time. They went for about 2 weeks, and then they reset. So I've looked up online to see how long this was going to last. There is nothing saying how long it's going to last. They're basically incentivizing people to get into these. What the hell happened? There it is. To get into these uni chain pools, so you can see all of the ones that have this added bonus. They're all like ETH wrapped Bitcoin on the uni chain. Just it's an incentive. So once these get built up enough,
I think you froze.
I'm making about 45% or 44.78% total APR. And so it's
Is that
paying
full
me
range?
out. I actually have it set to up to 106,000 price point for Bitcoin. So it is a ranged position.
Hmm.
But the great thing about this is I'm getting paid out in USDC, wrapped Bitcoin, and the Uni token. So you can see I've already earned like 2.3 Uni tokens, and it's a little over $5 a token right now. And that's kind of one of the things I really like about Uniswap is that it pays out, whatever pool you're in. Like my USDC Plume, it's paying me out in almost equal amounts of USDC and Plume. So I'm basically
Mm-hmm.
stacking dry powder in USDC and I'm stacking more Plume. So, it's a great way to any bags that I want to build, I do on Uniswap because I love Aerodrome. The problem with Aerodrome though is they only pay you an arrow. Whereas again, this pays you out in whatever tokens, that you are contributing, whatever pool you're contributing to. So it's just a great way to build your bags. So let's get into this. So this is some of my DeFi that I'm doing right now. So you can see my wrapped ETH, USDC. It looks like we dropped about $50 on ETH. So I'm deeper back in range. We were getting towards 2,600. But just since this morning, I've earned just over $31. In about 12 hours. So you can see, I'm making about $60 to $70 a day on this position. This one here, I started about 10 days ago. So basically everything other than this wrapped ETH position is about 10 days worth of earning. Right before me and my lady went on our trip to Yellowstone, I collected all the fees. So right now, if without ETH, I'm making about $300 every 10 days. So so about $900 to $1,000. With ETH, if it stays in range, I'm going to be able to, tack on quite a bit onto that. ETH has been a huge, huge earner for me. And then of course, Plume. Plume, you can see in the past 10 days, just this one pool alone has made me $120. So I'm making about, I'd say, $10 a day, like a little over $10 a day on this one. And that's not bad for, only having $2,800 in it. So, again, my portfolio right now, even without the pump, is making me about $1,000 a month, and the total that I have in there right now is about 20 grand. So, do the math. What is that? 5%? Am I doing my math right? About 5% a month.
I mean, shit, that's
$1,000.
pretty fucking good.
Oh no,
A
no,
month, yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah, no, it's
Mhm.
awesome. But you have to look at it, and this is I'm going to segue into this. Is like if $1,000 doesn't seem like a lot to you, I don't know how it wouldn't. $1,000 is quite a bit of money. But think of it this way: as the market pumps and these assets appreciate, that $1,000 I'm getting paid out in crypto. So, some of it's in USDC, so it's pegged to the dollar, but I'm getting paid in Plume, I'm getting paid in Bitcoin, I'm getting paid in Arrow, and other tokens. So as the price goes up of these assets, my earnings go up as well, as long as I don't put them into stables. If I believe things are going to be going up and I don't put them into stables, then I'm that what I earned these past months is going to go up with that. So, say I've been making
Mhm.
around $1,000 a month for the past couple of months, and those assets 10x. I now made $10,000 a month for the past couple of months. So that's the mindset that you need to start getting when it comes to DeFi. And as these assets start to pump, then you start DCAing or laddering out into stables and taking those profits. Don't get too wrapped up in the fact if you're only making like 10, 20, 30, $50, a day or a week or whatever. Start from somewhere. Like we were talking about before,
Mhm.
use airdrops, use free money to help build your portfolio. And soon that 10, 20, $30 will be 20, 20, 40, $60. And then, $100 and $200 and $400. And it starts compounding. DeFi the game in DeFi is compounding yield. You want to be earning and then having those earnings earn more. So it's yield on yield on yield, starting new pools,
Mhm.
um, you know, uh, adding to your hodl bags, things like that. So I built this out to kind of to give you a visual on this. So the first thing that you're trying to do when you're building out a DeFi portfolio is build out your cash flow. So, through airdrops, through fiat, through your hodl bags, whatever, is, you seed your DeFi portfolio. The next step is build cash flow, through positions. So, I personally, when people ask me and they're new to DeFi, I always tell them start with lending because lending is very straightforward. You provide liquidity, you earn a yield. You don't have to worry about divergence loss. You don't got to worry about, if the markets pump or not. If the markets pump, you're getting full price appreciation. But when it's not, when it's going down and when it's going sideways, you're still earning yield. Next is full range pools. So again, full range pools, you're going to earn more yield, but you're going to have exposure to impermanent loss. Impermanent loss being the difference between if you just hodled the asset or had it in a full range pool. So if if you if you have some of that asset, say it's Arrow USDC, if you have some Arrow sitting and you're lending or you're just hodling it, and you're going to get that full price appreciation with that, or you have it in a lock like I have and some of the people in the chat have, you're going to get full price appreciation. So being in a full range pool, your focus should be to get some price appreciation, but mostly it's to build yield and to earn yield, because what all of this is doing is building up to where daily, weekly, monthly, annually, you're amassing more crypto, and you are building your DeFi portfolio total amount so that you can get to a point to where you can start taking a portion of it and using it to augment your lifestyle, to make a car payment, or pay for a house, or make other investments, or buy more crypto, whatever that is. You have to decide what that is, what your goals are. And then, of course, like I talked about, airdrops. These are all very safe. And then you got staking and delegating as well. You can stake your assets, natively on chain, and earn anywhere from a couple of percent to 20, 30, 40% sometimes. So these are all very simple, easy ways. No, lending is not staking.
No. Speaking of that, since you brought that up, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll tell you the difference. So this is staking. This is my Casper. I've been buying Casper for years now, and I've been staking it for about 16% APR. And over those years, I've earned 126,307 Casper, which at current value is $2,000. Again, if Casper 10x's, I made $20,000 instead of $2,000. So I've had this staked for quite some time. Basically, all this is I'm depositing this to help secure the network, and I'm delegated to this validator. So my tokens are, it's kind of like VE Arrow. It's my voting power or my voting rights. And by delegating, I'm giving this delegator or this validator permission to vote on my behalf. And for that, they are paying me a fee. So that's how I'm earning fees, is basically letting them vote for me on, basically whenever they want to approve or disapprove a motion on, how they want to build out the protocol, or, if they want to do a release, or, something like that. So that's staking or delegating. Whereas lending is like Aave. So if I go to Aave, this is lending. So this, I am simply supplying. So say I have USDC. I can deposit it on Aave into a pool, and the smart contracts will automatically lend that out to people. But those people have to put up collateral or leverage, which is, Bitcoin or whatever, whatever asset that they want to contribute. And they'll be earning yield on that as well, but it's locked on their end. Yours is liquid. You can pull it off whenever you want, but unless you take out a loan as well. But this is lending. You just deposit your liquidity. In this case, USDC, you earn 3.34. It's that straightforward. It's that simple. You're earning a small yield for lending letting the protocol lend your money out. It's pretty straightforward. So,
And sometimes with the staking, or most times, you have a lockup withdrawal period or a cooldown period, or it's 7
some
days,
of them do.
14, or yeah. So that's
Some of them
also
do.
important to know.
Casper is like 16 hours. They all have, they all have different, different,
Yeah.
lockup periods or cool off periods. So I'm going to go over some of the tracking sheets that I use. So I want to give you an idea of how powerful having this long-term mindset I keep talking about is. So, and the compounding yield and rolling your yield, your profits back into your positions. And
Mm-hmm.
since the market dumped, since Bitcoin got up to like 106,000, dumped back down into the 80s, and all of that. Since then, like I started in November with $15,000 in my DeFi portfolio, and I'll show you. So back here in December, here I'll actually make this bigger.
Show me, Big Daddy.
I'll show you, Big Daddy. So I started out with 15,265. And that doesn't include my Arrow lock. But that's what I started with. And Arrow was actually at a much higher price point than it is now. So I actually probably started with more like 10,000 or less. Again, because right now Arrow is worth a lot less, and part of my liquidity was an Arrow. So let's say $10,000. I started with $10,000. Now, since then, I've been earning and rolling that back in. And you can see, even at these current price levels, I have more now than I started with by like $6,300. Now, I did the math before the show, and I went asset by asset. And what I did is like, these are my main DeFi positions, and I input how many tokens I have now because of my earnings, and what the recent high was on them. So Arrow got up to about $2.20. Moonwell got up to about 24 cents. ETH was at about 4,500. Bitcoin was at 106,000. You get the idea. So with what I have in current token count, I would have $44,000 of Arrow, and you can see the numbers here. I would have $64,911 from a $10,000 starting point. So I have more than 6x'd my DeFi portfolio if we just go back to the highs that we had a couple of months ago. I'm not talking about if it goes above and beyond that. If it goes above and beyond that and we start getting like a real bull run, I might end up to where I have a couple $100,000 in my DeFi portfolio, and I started with $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I hope that this is it making sense. I know that I'm a little bit all over the place, but I hope that this makes sense. How powerful DeFi can be with just a small portion of your portfolio. This is only like 10 or 20%. My DeFi portfolio is only like 10 or 20% of my overall portfolio. So just having that long-term mindset, that disciplined, non-emotional mindset, to where I'm doing these full range positions, I'm doing lending, small amount of range positions just to try to boost my earnings a little bit. But I have been very conservative in my DeFi moves, and I've managed to do this. And again, I just started in November with DeFi. So I'm not, an expert. I'm enough to be dangerous. And so I want to stress that don't get frustrated. If you're only making $10 a day, that's still $300 a month. If that's a good chunk of money. If you were walking down the street and you saw, every month you were walking down the street and you found $300 with a note that said, "You're welcome,"
Yep.
and just somebody was going ahead of you and just leaving you little Easter eggs like that every month.
And some of that can actually increase in value because it's not pegged to $1.
Exactly. Yeah. So if it was like magic money that when you weren't looking, it had like dirty, nasty sex and had more money.
Yeah, more money.
Yeah, more money and more money. So, I mean, I can't stress to you enough. Build out your DeFi portfolio with a good, solid foundation. Start with lending, start with full range positions, start with staking and delegating, and just
Yeah.
get to where you're earning a steady stream of yield. Get to
Did
where it looks like this. Divergence loss still exists with pools with stable coins.
like Plume
Not
USDT?
not really. And to be honest, in I
You only
would
get
not.
that if going out the bottom side too. If
Well,
it's stuff's tanking,
I wouldn't worry about divergence loss when it comes to DeFi. Don't As long as you have some of the assets in lending or in locks or in staking or just hodling, you'll have some that are going to get full price appreciation. Me personally, I don't worry about divergence loss. I want to build out a DeFi portfolio to earn me steady yield each month. If I don't get as much, fine. Because when the markets were dumping and people were losing money, I wasn't losing as much in those full range positions. It works both ways. So when the markets are pumping, I'm not getting as much price appreciation. But when they're dumping, I'm not losing as much value either because it's DCAing me into stables. It's keeping an equal amount. If it's USDC Arrow, it's keeping an equal amount of those two. So it works both ways. And on top of it, 24/7, 365, I'm earning yield. So it's offsetting that impermanent loss or divergence loss. So just focus on using that yield to stack your bags, and don't sweat the divergence loss. Have some, like I said, in lending, staking, and hodling, and things like that, to where you get that full exposure to price appreciation, and you won't worry about a little bit of divergence loss. So I mean that's that. I'll kind of in that
Only worry
topic
about it
there.
if you're in two assets that are going to be volatile, like Plume and ETH. If you were in Plume and ETH or
Yeah,
something like a meme coin, then you would really want to pay attention
yeah.
to.
If they have really bad correlation and they're moving opposite each other, like one of them's always dumping and one of them's always pumping, that's when you need to worry. And I would only be in those types of positions with very small amounts of liquidity until you understand how that works. I don't mess with those at all. My only ranged positions are with a stable. One side of it is a stable coin. So Arrow USDC, Plume USDC, ETH USDC. I always have a stable coin because it's easier for me to visualize what's going to happen as the price goes up and down. So that's just me. Like I said, I'm building my portfolio for residual income. I want to be able to, anytime me and my lady want to go out to dinner, I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to pull a little bit of liquidity and we're going to take her out to a nice dinner. If we're going to take a trip, I'm just going to use that to fund the trip. That's what I want to do with my DeFi is I want to, improve my property, build a greenhouse, things like that. So that's what I'm building my portfolio for. I'm not looking to get rich overnight. As long as I see a good, steady, growth over time, I'm good. So, the other thing that is important is, and I can't stress it enough, is tracking the growth, using the tracking sheets to ensure that your token count and the value are both increasing. So if the dollar amount is going down, but you're stacking more tokens and you're getting more tokens, like I just talked about, when the market's dumped and we've been going sideways, I've been tracking mine. And I've seen that, yeah, the dollar amount went down, but my token counts are going up. So I know when the market rebounds, I'm going to be in a much better position. just like I just showed. I started with 10. I got up to about 30,000 at the the peak when we were pumping before, and then it dumped. And I still had more than I started with after it dumped because of everything that I had earned in the first couple of months. Now, because of that dump and the trending sideways, again, started with 10,000, I'm going to have about 64,000, when we go back up. So, all of that is because I stayed unemotional. And the way that I did that was, one, I knew I was earning, but I was tracking on these tracking sheets I'm about to show you. I was tracking how many tokens I was earning. So I saw I was making progress. I wasn't just watching price and getting emotional and getting fudded out. So look at the token count, look at the dollar amount, and look at your asset exposure. So another example, with a bunch of profits, with about $1,400 in profits that I made for over about 2 weeks from Plume, I opened my Bitcoin position, my USDC Bitcoin position that I'm earning the Uni token on as well. That whole
That's the CB?
yep,
CB
that
Bitcoin?
whole
Yeah.
liquidity pool that I got right here, this USDC wrapped Bitcoin, that entire amount was from 2 weeks of
Okay.
my Plume. So, I mean, this
Yeah.
is free. This is free money, and my free
Jesus.
money is making more free money, and
Yep.
that free money is eventually going to make me more free money. So it's free, free. All of these are making me more yield, and the more positions I open, the more I make each month, and it just compounds. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to stress.
Yeah, I did
So
this with nodes in uh, the last bull run, entering the bear market. These nodes were all hyped, and you could essentially like earn a certain amount of tokens and then set up a new node, and then you'd earn more, but there wasn't really anything to bring in value. So it's just kind of like a pyramid scheme, but I was able to move out of that. But this is like you're earning the fees off of people swapping and activity on the network, so there's value behind it, not just it's this mythical
yeah,
thing that
they're not
doesn't
just
generate any
minting.
revenue.
Yeah, they're not just printing tokens to give away. I mean, this
Yeah.
is actual liquidity. This is
Mm-hmm.
people injecting liquidity into the DeFi market, and and so yeah, it's actually backed by some. But
Yeah.
but again, I've shared this before. This is my plan. I mean, this is literally my plan, is airdrops and yield. I have not put a single dollar into my DeFi portfolio since what, December? Yeah, it was like December
Yeah.
was like the last time I put any money in it. It's been funding itself. So that 64,000 isn't because I injected more money into it. I have only used yield to plus up my DeFi portfolio. So again, the yield and airdrops is what I'm funding it with it. I'm staking and delegating full range pools and lending. I get rewards. I am cashing out. I'm going to, once the market starts pumping, I'm going to start cashing out each week 20% into stables that I can, live off of or go out to dinner or whatever, and put that into, lending so I can, earn a little bit off of it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
also dry powder if I want to, reinvest. I can open new positions with 30% or compound into existing positions. I can plus up hodl bags. I'll probably scale that down as the bull market goes on, and then a bunch of it, 30%, I'm going to be putting into stables. My long term hodl bags is probably going to be mostly Bitcoin, and so for the most part, as the bull market continues to edge on, I'm going to be only putting my yield or my rewards into Bitcoin and stables. And both of those I'll be putting into lending and in liquidity pools that are going to earn me yield. And I'm just going to sit back and slowly ladder out into these positions and wait for the market to crash. And if it does, I'm going to have a bunch of stables to start DCAing back in. So
Yeah, and are you gonna, like, once we start entering a bear market, are you gonna start rolling or lending out stable coins just to earn yield off of those?
absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
because in a bear
no,
market, you don't want to hold all the assets, so you don't round trip, but you still want to earn yield off of something. So if you have the stables, you can lend those out and earn not as much, but definitely a lot more than what you would earn by holding the other shit on the way down.
no, absolutely. So this is my bull run bag and my ladder out strategy. So this is my DeFi portfolio and my HODL portfolio together. So my goal, if I hit all of my targets, I'll have about $580,000, and that will be. But that doesn't include each of these. A couple of the key assets that I'm bullish on long term. I'm going to keep 10% into the bear market, just because I want to keep exposure to them.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see I built this out, and I have seven. At the time I only had 703. I actually have more than that now. So I got 710,000. Excuse me. So I'm taking 10%. If Casper gets to 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 40, 50 cents, I'll be hodling 10%. So if I meet all my targets on Casper, I'll make 177,500. DAG, this is how I plan on laddering out. Arrow, this is how I plan on laddering out. The only thing that I'm going to keep is my lock because it's locked for 4 years. I'll be selling all my other arrow because right now I have about 10,000 arrow in my lock. And by the end of the 4 years, I'll have about 75,000. So I'm not worried about, long-term holding any arrow because I'm locked. I don't have a choice. I'm going to have a bunch of arrow. Ondo, this is what I'm doing. Plume, this is what I'm doing. Link, AVAX, Flare, Bitcoin, all my different positions. I have this spreadsheet built out so that I know what I'm going to end up with, if I hit all my targets. And the reason I built it out like this is my actual goal is 500,000. So if I don't hit all my targets, if I miss it by 81,000, 82,000, I'll still hit my target. And the reason that I'm doing that is I also have a plan on what I'm going to do with those earnings. Because again, if I hit all my targets, all of this is going to be in stable coins like USDC and USDT and Bitcoin. The majority of which will be in stables, because when the market dumps, the stables are going to be lending and in liquidity pools, earning anywhere from 5% to 20%, and I'm just going to let them sit there, and I'm going to let it earn and earn and earn and earn until I feel like we're back into the depths of the bear market again, and obviously along the way I'll be doing research on great new projects, or maybe I'll DCA into, old projects like DAG and Ondo and, Plume and, stuff like that. If they take a big hit on price,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll just, buy it at a sale price. So I'm selling these, at a dollar, 80 cents, 70 cents. And then maybe, when it takes a dump, if it does what it's done in the past and it takes a 90% hit, then I'm buying at a 90% discount with a lot more money. And so you can
Yeah,
you
Kelly
can
did that
see,
with Tau recently, where
yeah,
he sold up at a high and has bought down much lower, and I think gotten more than what he had when he sold it. So very,
absolutely,
very good.
absolutely. And then again, on top of that, as I'm buying these assets, I'm going to be putting them into DeFi. I'm always going to be DeFi.
Hmm.
It is just far too powerful of a tool. So I am buying low, selling high, locking in those profits, waiting for lows again to buy back in at a low to sell on a high. And all along the way, I'm DeFiing, earning yield. I mean, if that, think about that for a minute, and how powerful that is from an earning standpoint. I mean, it's if you can build out your plan like this, and before you get emotional, before the markets start to pump, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to hold on a little bit longer. I'm going to hold on a little bit longer, and you get that mindset. You're going to get caught round tripping bags. So I highly, highly suggest that, and if you want these sheets, I'm more than happy to share them with you. I got them for free. I've done a bunch of modifications, but I got them for free from Crypto Labs Research. I want to make sure they get full credit for it. They built out the originals, but I've been making a bunch of modifications to them. But yeah, if you want them, let me know, and I'm more than happy to share these with you. And because I want all of you to be successful, I want you to make life-changing money. But the only way that you're going to do that, and I'll end with this, is to treat this like a business, and use facts, logic, reason, keeping emotion out of it, and understanding what your plan is, and be ready to action it, and stay on top of it, because it's going to be as profitable as the effort you put into it. So cool.
Yeah. Let's see.
So next week, we're supposed to be going live. This Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, BitLab Academy, and us are all supposed to be going live on our combined Discord channel. When that happens, I'll make these sheets available, and you guys and girls are more than welcome to copy them, save them, and put them to work, modify them, do whatever you want to do to them. But I'll make those available as soon as the Discord goes live. I'd give them to you now, but I don't want to get you guys in the habit of clicking on links. The only way I can really share it is put it in a share drive and share a link. And clicking on links in crypto is never a good idea. Because somebody could pretend that they're me and say, hey, I sent you this link to the sheet, and you click on it and it's malicious, and there's a wallet drainer in it. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm going to wait until it's in the Discord, and I'll let you guys know when it's there. But let me see if I got anything else.
Cool. I found the Pengu. I found some pools on Radium. But,
well, share those.
Yeah. So yeah, for those out there, I got the Pengu airdrop last year.
Hold on, real quick. I forgot. Who is it that asked on how to pick ranges?
Stan mentioned something about the ranges earlier.
Yeah, Stan.
But, okay.
So, yeah, basically, Stan, if you want to do a range position, it's basic technical analysis, basic TA. So you see this gold line here? You can see that back here, that this was resistance. You can see how it came up, it bounced off, came down, came back up, bounced off. You can see how it repeatedly, like almost like a ceiling, was smashing its head up against it. And then it passed. It went up here, bounced down, and then it came down, and you see it's bouncing off. So now it turned that to support. So back here, this 15-cent level was resistance, and then it flipped to support. So that's a really strong level right there. So that is where I put the bottom of my range, and the top of my range, I put at this all-time high. So my plume position is a super wide, and I'll show you again that super wide position. You can see 15 cents to 25 cents. I in the past 10 days, I've made $114, even with as wide as that range is. So yeah, you can make it much narrower. I can make it to where it's this, here, and I might make twice as much, but look at how many times I would have been out of range. And so I tend to lean towards wider ranges that stay in range longer and earn than picking a really narrow range and making a lot of money for only a portion of the time. I've tested it out, and I make more money long term with wider ranges, unless you do multiple, like do one with a wide range and take a smaller amount of money and do a narrower range. That's going to earn, kind of boost your earnings, but you're
Mhm.
not reliant on that one narrow range to earn all your money. I hope that makes sense for you, Stan.
Yeah, make sure if it's on Ethereum, you don't want to keep rebalancing if it goes out of range. Other chains, it's not so bad, but you still don't want to keep rebalancing and capturing whatever. Yeah, that's daily.
And yeah, this is a cherry well. This is I'm on daily. I Whenever I pick ranges, I like to use 4 hour or daily, because I want to
Mm.
pick a range for as long as a time frame as possible. With trading, like scalp trading and stuff like that, yeah, you might be looking at the hourly, you might be looking at the 15-minute, because you're in, you're out. You're making fast moves. When you're making slow moves, like with DeFi, you want longer time frames. So I hope that makes
Mhm.
sense. All right. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. This let me. I don't know where else I can find these liquidity pools for
Pengu.
um, Pengu. Let me see. Is this one's not really. They're kind of trash because the liquidity 195,000, 1.6 million in 24-hour volume, so it's not really anything. And that's Solana Pengu, so I don't want to have Solana and Pengu. There's the Pengu USDT, but
Yeah.
that only has
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Yeah,
It
for
only
that.
has,
Yeah, this is
yeah.
trash,
No,
trash. So,
you get killed with fucking slippage.
hmm yeah, so there's not really any good pool, but I don't really know where else to look on Solana for liquidity pools.
Go to a DeFi aggregator.
Um, can you go DeFi Llama
Yeah, go to DeFi
or
Llama.
Dex Screener?
No, no, I'd go to DeFi Llama.
What is it? .com or okay?
Yeah, DeFiLlama.com. And then you should be able to go to yields. Pengu.
Check this out. The
So it looks
Pengu.
like, and you're wanting a stable coin sided.
Yeah,
All right, so let's
yeah, most
sort by
definitely.
TVL. Not a whole lot. The
Yeah.
Soul Pengu is the biggest. The largest stable sided is on Orca on here, and it's only 44,000 of TVL. So you'd get killed with slippage.
Mm,
Not a whole lot, brother.
yeah. Yeah. The Soul Pengu one is the only like that's 2.5 million TVL, but I don't want the two assets. And who is that? Cherry that asked about the divergence loss earlier. Yeah, Cherry Well. So this if you had Solana and Pengu, since both of those fluctuate versus like USDT or USDC, that's where you would get more divergent loss
Well,
than.
let me here. I'll check on the correlation chart.
Oh yeah, nice.
So Pengu, Pudgy Penguins, and you're saying Soul?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Pengu and Soul. It's a 0.41 correlation, so not terrible, but definitely not optimal. I mean, from 0 to 1, it's at about 41% correlation.
Okay. Yeah, I just was thinking, man, I hate to have this just sitting here because I got, like what, $1,400 I think in Pengu. The
I mean, you could always sell it, you know, put it in something else. I mean,
yeah,
unless you're bullish on Pengu.
yeah. I wish I would have sold when it was up at 3-4 cents because then it'd be like a 3-4K.
Well, I mean, still, I mean, it was free money,
But
wasn't it?
yeah. Actually,
Fourteen
I mean,
hundred
I'm
bucks in
bullish
free
on the
money,
long
brother.
term project, but if I might be able to get more out of. Yeah, I'll look in opening another plume pool actually because
Dude,
man,
I need actually, you know what? I need to find that post that I did where I got that Tyrone Biggins off of Chappelle's show
got any more of
where
that
he's like,
plume?
you got any of that plume? You got
That
it?
plume,
I heard
man.
you got some of that plume.
Oh man, we're getting degen in here, man. With the
Dude, I totally feel like a crackhead. My lady's probably tired of listening to me. She's actually listening right now. She's probably tired of me freaking talking about DeFi. Like everybody I talk to, I probably sound like a Jehovah's Witness, trying to freaking convert everybody. But yeah. Let me see.
Oh, that's hilarious. Let's
So
see.
yeah, yeah, the correlation's all right, but between Sol and Pengu, but you know, is what it is. I mean, the just I guess it depends on the yield that you'll get, and how wide you set the range, and so.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it might be a
actually, you
good.
know what? Hold on.
Oh,
I was on yearly, so monthly, Pengu and Sol has an 84% correlation.
84%. Oh shit.
Yeah, monthly. So I mean, that would be a decent length of time. If you could stay in range for a month,
Shit. Hmm.
that might be worth looking at.
Yeah, I'll have to see. Cause this. What's the 24-hour volume on this? Oh. Take me to the pool.
APY 16%. Here, let's go to Orca directly.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, pull this up. Man, even Ohm got a nice pump.
Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about buying some just because it was so beat down.
Oh, what the hell? Orca. Wait, what is the website for Orca? I don't have it.
Orca.so.
Okay.
I'm there now. I'm looking. Pengu. All right, so Pengu sold.
Oh, and Initia's pushing. It just broke all-time highs from the airdrop price.
I don't know what's going on. Must be the end of an epoch or something, because Orca's yield is like super low.
Let's see, Pengu.
Yeah, it's only showing like 1.1%. So yeah, it must be like
EVO.
Aerodrome, where it's like weekly they reset.
Okay. Man, so this for an airdrop. So this is Initia, right? This is the daily.
Yeah,
That's the one that I had a few weeks ago.
yeah.
Um, I mean, look at that, man. That's a nice fucking. This is a 4 hour.
Yeah, you're on the 4 hour.
Just broke a dollar.
Well,
So
it broke its all time high.
I mean, and for those of you that don't know, usually airdrops you're gonna have a nice pump initially, and then days, next months will be a die off. But this one's nice. Now the perfect, I don't want to say perfect, but a
It,
beautiful example
it's
would be
very plume like.
would be Plume, except Plume didn't have that 50% sell off like Initia did, but you look, it hit 55 cents, and since then it's doubled, and since the
And
pump.
those of you that are new to the channel, like freaking myself, blockchain basement, a lot of the people over at Discover Crypto and whatnot. Jeff is the one that cued us into Plume, and it was from his airdrop hunting. So he had been
Mhm.
doing the airdrop for Plume, turned me on to it. I was in DeFi, and so I started looking into it from a DeFi standpoint, liked the project, and started buying it. And then I'm the one that found the Plume pools that I dipped a toe in and started earning quite well, and started getting other people into the Plume pools, and pretty much everybody that has gotten into these Plume pools is very, very happy. I haven't talked to anybody that has lost money in these pools yet.
Yeah, here you go. July 23rd last year. This is the first video I did on the
Yep.
Plume testnet. So yeah, this
So
was
yeah. So
deep
I
in
mean,
it,
so
man.
there's a lot of things that you can get from this channel. Make sure that you like, follow, and watch the channel, because with these airdrops, we teach you how to make free money. You get, the inside track on these low cap gyms before they launch, before the main nets, go live. So you're buying in early. We show you, as soon as there's DeFi pools to earn off of them, so you can get free tokens. And then when the main net goes live, if the price goes crazy, even before
Mhm.
it goes live, you can earn more free tokens from doing DeFi. And then when it pumps, all of it originated for free, free freaking money.
Sweat
And
equity, man.
yeah, and you end up making a bunch of money from just a little bit of work. And
Mhm.
it's rinse and repeat. So the skills that you learn doing this, it's going to make you life changing money. And it's a lot more powerful than just buying a bunch of different cryptos and hoping that one or a couple of them are going to pump more than the ones that don't. So I just want to make sure that people realize, oh, the portfolio tracker. If you're talking about the sheets that I'm using, they're just Excel spreadsheets that have formulas in it that auto calculates. And again, I'll make those available next week when our Discord goes live. But
And what's ALB,
Alb,
Deadwood? I don't remember. Alb?
yeah, the chain, the token, Al, what is it? Alb?
Alb? ALB. I don't
No.
see an
Oh, Alien
ALB.
Base. Alien Base.
Oh, okay. That's right.
I have not seen anything on Alien Base that I liked so far, to be honest. And I'm not saying that it's not going to make money, but the platform itself, not. And you know what? It's been a minute. You know what? I'll go to it real quick.
Alien base decks.
Alienbase.xyz.
Well, they haven't posted since April 18th. And
That's
then
not a good
before that
sign.
was March. And then, yeah, they don't post a
They
lot.
only. Well, here. Let me go ahead and put my screen up.
Yeah, I'll toss yours up.
Thank you, sir. So, Alien Base, it only has only 61 million in TVL, 24-hour volume of 8 million, and with the pump that we've gotten, I'd like to see more activity. To be honest, um, let's see what's going on inside. So really, it just seems like it's for trading. Just for like buying and selling. So it kind of just looks like yeah, liquidity
Hmm.
providers that deposit both asset pairs are rewarded. Okay, so it does. Here, I just don't see where it says to farm. Am I missing something?
At the very top?
Oh, here you go. Start earning.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean it looks like you can provide. I mean, it looks like there's some decent APRs. Not a whole lot of liquidity though. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of a degen play with how low the TVL is for the platform, but if you're using small amounts, might not be a bad play. I mean, there's some really good APRs being offered. Alien base USDC, you can make 131%. There's some decent liquidity. It's more than 250K. Has a good multiplier. You have a 0.5 multiplier. So yeah, I mean it's not a good sign that their socials are as inactive as they are. I'd be careful if you're
Yeah.
asking if I would put liquidity on this platform. With the way the markets are moving, with as little activity that's on here, I'd be careful, brother. Um, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. I'm not trying to FUD Alien Base, but I go with facts, figures, numbers, and I like seeing like Morpho just broke $1 billion in what was it, a billion?
Yeah. Morpho?
Yeah,
A billion? Yeah.
yeah. It broke $1 billion in TVL. That's strong. And the fact that it is where Coinbase is offering their BTC loans and stuff like that. That to me shows strength. That's where I'm going to be putting my lending is on Morpho. That and Aave is where I'm going to be doing my lending and whatnot. And when it comes to liquidity pools, it's probably going to be for the most part Uniswap and Aerodrome is probably where I'm going to be doing most of my liquidity pools for the foreseeable future. Um, I am going to be doing a video here soon on Pendle and Contigo, which is an automation that does a lend borrow flywheel. It automates the process, and so it optimizes
Mm,
the yield earning. So I'll be doing a video on that here soon. But do you have anything else, Jeff?
nice.
Or
No, just looking at this chat. Um, yeah, just talking about the alien base.
hmm,
Seeing if we missed anything. Oh,
no, if there isn't,
no.
if you
I
don't,
mean
if
that
you don't,
was definitely good helping me out with this trying to figure out this Pengu stuff and some other plume things. I definitely learned a lot today.
That's awesome. I hope everybody listening, learned. So please like and follow. We definitely, again, anything you see on here, nothing is paid. Nobody pays us to, promote anything or talk about anything. We do all this for free. We're just very
Not
passionate
financial
about it.
advice.
Yeah, it's not financial advice. We're very passionate about it, and I get very excited about DeFi and what it's doing for me, and those I care about, improving our lives, and I just want to do the same for all of you. Give you an opportunity because I looked forever to learn how to do DeFi and I couldn't find a place. So I finally just started teaching myself. So I just wanted to be a resource. So yeah, try to get the word out. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And with that, if you
So
don't have
we
anything,
got
Jeff,
we got just shout out to everyone in the chat, man. We had a nice crew today.
yeah, we did.
Jay, Doobie Doo, Alexandra, Wispy, Brandon, Black Ice, Kyle. Who else?
Deadwood,
DCA.
Hippie Holder,
Mm-hmm.
Jay,
Pepe, Wreck
Milkman,
Barn,
Cherrywell,
C90,
yeah,
Richard,
Ricardo, Brandon, Stan.
Stan,
We
all the
appreciate all of you, and I
yeah,
definitely appreciate those of
Cherrywell.
you that ask questions because if you're
Mm-hmm.
asking questions, it means that you're listening and you're processing. I was a military instructor, so I like it when people ask questions because it means that you're listening and you're processing, and it
Mm-hmm.
helps me be a better instructor because when you ask questions, it shows me that maybe I wasn't as clear as I should have been on a certain portion of the instruction. So please do
Mm-hmm.
not feel like that any question you have is ever stupid. The only stupid question is the question unasked. So with
Mm-hmm.
that, thank you all. And until next time, Veteran Crypto out.